Most modern digital SLRs like this one are capable of stunning stills photography as well as HD movies, but they're also capable of something called time-lapse.
A movie is a sequence of still images shown at around 25 frames per second, which tricks the mind into thinking it's seeing smooth motion. However, a time-lapse movie is a sequence of still images shot over a longer period of time that are then compiled into a movie after you've shot them. Shooting time-lapse also allows you to use the parameters of stills, that is, more flexible shutter speeds and ISO outside those available when shooting standard movies. When shown at normal speed, a time-lapse movie compresses time and reveals movement in slow-moving subjects, like clouds over a landscape, for example. Day or night, city or country, you'll start to look at your environment differently, and the possibilities will open up. But as generating these images can take anywhere from minutes to hours, or sometimes days or even longer, there are some things to bear in mind to avoid disappointment. A good sturdy tripod is essential, but most importantly, you'll need an intervalometer. An intervalometer fires the shutter at predetermined intervals over a time frame that you decide on when planning your movie. You can vary this depending on the speed of the motion in the scene and the kind of movie you're after. Next, you need to set up your camera. We're using two cameras, the 5D Mark III and the 6D, so that we can cut between them for a more interesting movie. Firstly, set your lens to manual focus to avoid it refocusing between frames. If the light levels are fairly constant, start with your camera in manual mode. You can put your camera in AV or TV when light levels are changing, if you were shooting a sunset, for example. Set your aperture to give the required depth of field. Then set your shutter speed to get the amount of blur you want in the image and use the ISO to get the correct exposure. It's a good idea to do some test shots before shooting your sequence. When you've shot your sequence, the next step is to turn it into a movie. Most good image editing software will be able to process image sequences, and there are applications available that will turn these into films. The most important thing, though, is to experiment and have fun. The possibilities are endless.
М.видео. Нам не все равно.